another quiz with significant figures. Your first question was how many significant figures are in 1.2030. So now we're going to be looking at some zeros at the end of a number, and we have a zero in the middle right there. So the zero in the middle we know is significant. The zero at the end is also significant because, hey, what do we got right there? We've got a decimal. So the correct answer for this would be 5 significant figures. Then our next one, we've got a zero at the end. So there's a zero at the end of the number. There is no decimal, so therefore there would just be 1 significant figure. Then how many significant figures? 5.000. We have 3 zeros at the end of this number, and therefore with this little addition of that decimal, that makes all of them significant. So that would be 4 significant figures. Then how many significant figures are in 0.060470? Okay, we've got zeros at the beginning here. Not significant. 0 in the middle is significant. Zeros at the end, not significant, or is significant because there is a decimal here. So we have 60470. So that would be 5 significant figures. The next one, how many significant figures are in 5.30 times 10 to the negative 5th? So when we write a number in scientific notation, the only numbers that are significant are right here. So these are really easy to actually pick out the significant figures. They're always going to be whatever the digits are in front of the times 10 to the whatever. This is never ever significant. 10, negative 5, or if it was 10 to the 15th, it doesn't really matter. This part of the number is never significant. So in scientific notation, it's always the numbers right here that are significant. So the 5, the 3, and the 0 are all significant. So your correct answer here would be 3 significant figures. Then when we write out a number from scientific notation, remember we always need to make sure that we have the same number of significant figures in the written out form and in the scientific notation form. So looking at this number right here, we know that all of the digits in front of the times 10 are all significant. So the 4, the 8, and the 2 zeros. So therefore we would have 4 significant figures. So in our answer, we also must pick 4 significant figures. So our first answer can't be correct because that only has 3 numbers in it, so that doesn't even work. Then the second answer would not be correct because you have no decimal here, which means the zeros right here are not significant. And then these zeros also being at the end would be significant because there is that decimal right here. So this would have 4 significant figures as well. So our correct answer here should be this one, the 480.0. Then scientific notation. We have this written out form. We want to write it in scientific notation. We need to make sure that we have the correct number of significant figures. So looking at this, we have 2, 5, 8, and 0. We know this 0 at the end is significant because it's at the end and there's that little decimal right there. We know zeros in the beginning of a number are never significant, which makes sense because we don't write those out in scientific notation. So that also may help you remember that they're not significant. So looking at our choices here, we've got 2.580 times 10 to the negative 3rd, and this would be correct because we have 4 significant figures here and we have 4 significant figures here. So therefore we know that these two would have the same number of significant figures, so they would match. And we do not write out scientific notation like 2,580. That doesn't make any sense.